Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to share with you a get ready with me using the sultry palette, using a bunch of my current favorites. This is kind of like my go-to makeup look with the sultry palette, and I'm also going to be answering a bunch of your questions that you asked me through Instagram stories. So if you guys want to know a little bit more about me and see some of my current favorite products, then just keep on watching. Alright, so I asked you guys to send me questions on Instagram stories to answer in this video and just do like a chit chat, get ready with me, Q&A kind of video. Which I'm really excited for because usually in my Get Ready With Me, I just like focus on the makeup, but today I wanted to definitely focus on answering your questions, and I'll talk about what products I'm using, but mostly it's just gonna be like my go-to products. This is gonna be like the face that I've been wearing pretty much nonstop for like the last month. But let me just go ahead and get started with primer, and then I'll get into questions. And I just mentioned this in my last video. This is from Origins. It's the Pore Perfecting Cooling Primer. I've been wearing this every single day for the last couple months. It's like a super cool, like yogurt kind of moussey texture, and it's super cooling. And I did honestly like put on a little bit of concealer because I have like breakouts on my forehead, and just like I've been breaking out nonstop for like the last 2 months just from like a lot of stress, and I haven't been sleeping a lot. And then I also have like this weird burn on my forehead, and I put a little bit of concealer on it because it was looking rough, but I just had like a curling iron burn, and because of that I've been avoiding like a lot of like face masks and like really good skincare products because I didn't want to irritate my forehead because of my burn. So I've just been waiting for that to heal so I could just get into like doing a lot of face masks in the next couple weeks, and hopefully I keep my skin clear again. So I'm just gonna mix together my Hollywood Flawless filter with my Too Faced Born This Way for foundation, and then get into some of the questions. And I did get asked a couple times in like different ways on Insta stories like my goals for 2019, and if I like have a bucket list for 2019, just like my goals for next year. That was kind of like a common question. I'm just like looking on all the questions that I screenshotted, and honestly I feel like I'm probably going to be making up my answer as I'm answering it, because I kind of know where like I want to go in my life and like what areas I want to grow in and focus in, but I haven't like fully articulated it. So I think basically my goals for 2019 are just kind of like to progress in like multiple areas of my life, and just kind of establish myself a little bit more like where I live, because I've only lived here in LA for, well, 2.5 years now. And I just want to feel like I'm like settled in and like settled down. We did move earlier this year, and that was like a huge goal for this year, to like get, rent a bigger place and just like find somewhere new to live, because we felt like we were outgrowing our old neighborhood. It was really nice. We'd almost like move back in the future. It's like really family friendly, but we really just wanted to explore more and like see the city more, and not kind of get stuck like in our neighborhood not doing too much. So I've been really, really happy with where we live. And where I live now is like 45 minutes to an hour away from where I was living 6 months ago, and where I lived for the first 2 years that we moved out here. So it is a pretty drastic difference. It's not like we like moved down the street. We're in a completely different area, so we never really go back. Every time I apply foundation, I end up applying too much, but that's totally fine. But yeah, like one of my biggest goals is definitely just to kind of feel like more relaxed and settled in, and not like need to like use my GPS so much. Like kind of just know my area a lot more, know where I like to go, and definitely just like meeting more people is always a goal, and just kind of being proactive to hang out with people and meet like new people. We've met a lot of people in our building actually in the past couple weeks, because one of our neighbors had a Halloween party a couple weeks ago, and we got to know like a lot of people in our building, which is really nice because like most people who live in our building are like 25. So it definitely makes me feel like a lot better just knowing people where I live, and it just makes me feel like more comfortable where we live in general. And like yesterday was my birthday, and this is the first birthday. This is my 3rd birthday in LA, but this was my first birthday that I spent with people. Like every other birthday has been kind of sad because we didn't know anybody. So now it's nice to like actually have people hang out with and like do things with. So that just made me like really happy and just feel like a lot more settled down living here compared to like last year or the year prior. This is the Jouer concealer. I've been wearing this every day. I'm super obsessed with it. It's really nice coverage. So definitely that's one of my goals too, is just to like kind of establish more roots here. We don't have, my brother-in-law lives here, but we don't have like any other family here. Actually, my childhood best friend from like when I was in kindergarten through like high school, I hadn't seen her for like 10 years basically. I had seen her like twice in the past 10 years. And she actually just moved like 15 minutes from us. So that's super nice to like finally have somebody again in my life that knew me prior to adulthood. Because otherwise it's like super hard to feel like you're constantly like starting over. If you guys didn't know, I moved from North Carolina. I lived there for 7 years. Basically like a year or two before college, through like my first job, and stayed until we got married. We moved like a week after our honeymoon, and then I grew up in Connecticut. So it's like my best friend from Connecticut moved here. And I haven't like connected with people from like my hometown and growing up in so many years. So it's really nice to have that again. I'm just realizing I'm like spending like 20 minutes on just one question, but I feel like it's probably like one of those more important ones or more like serious ones. But definitely, yeah, just like kind of progressing. And that's something that's like super always important to me. Like I get really sad if I'm stagnant. Like if this time next year I'm like in the same place in every aspect of my life. Like I haven't met new people. I haven't like traveled or like gone to new places. I haven't like taken any risks like in work or like other projects that I'm doing. I would be like really disappointed in myself. So always kind of working towards progress, even if it's failure, at least trying. So that's always like super, super important to me. And then I also did want to mention, like in terms of my channel, my goals would be to be able to do more videos. Well, first of all, do more collabs, like have more people on my channel in general, do more videos that aren't beauty related, which makes me a little nervous because my channel is beauty and I don't necessarily ever want to stray away from that, but I do want the option or feel like I can allow myself to like put up a vlog every now and then or some kind of lifestyle video every now and then. Still all kind of like in the same realm. But my fear is always that like nobody would watch videos like that, and then it would make me so sad because if it's like relating to my life, I feel like that makes me more sad than if somebody didn't like my eyeshadow palette review. Like it's more personal. So I do want to do that, like maybe just like once a month, do some other kind of video, like lifestyle video or more like personal video. That way it's not just like review videos constantly. You guys get a little bit of a breather from that on my channel and just like a little bit of a different element. I just use these two powders to set my face. I always use the Born This Way under my eyes and the Laura Mercier Glow. And then I have the Kevin Aquan Sculpting kit. I mentioned this in my Sephora sale recommendations. Look how much I used up, and I only got this like at the end of September, and that powder is gone because I've been wearing it every day and I love it so much. So highly recommend it. And then I think I had a couple other goals for my channel. One is to do more fashion videos. I want to do more videos where I'm like going places, even just like my fashion videos, like lookbooks. I feel like it's important for you guys to see me in more places than just like sitting in my room, because I sit in my room all day. I want to branch out. And yeah, like kind of go out and about a little bit more on my channel. If I do any kind of like lifestyle content, it makes it really difficult because sometimes I'll have to hire a videographer and like kind of invest more money into that and more time. But it also is something where it makes me a lot more happy to edit videos like that. Not that I make so many, but just the idea of it makes me really, really happy. Just like another opportunity to be more creative, and I feel like that's definitely like worth it to me. And then I also for sure, I'm gonna make it a goal in 2019 to at least have one video in Spanish. I think it's like one of those things that's just like about time. I'm gonna be going to Colombia for Christmas. And to give you guys just a little bit more background, I am Colombian. My parents were born and raised in Colombia. They moved here like a year before I was born. Spanish was my first language. I was learning English like the same time as my parents, which made like elementary school like really, really hard. But now I speak Spanish, or now I speak English way better than I speak Spanish. But I still speak Spanish. I think I speak it fairly well. I actually only speak it maybe like 10 minutes a week on the phone with my mom, but all the music I listen to is in Spanish. Like a lot of entertainment I consume is in Spanish. So even if I'm not like voicing it, like in my head, it's there. So I'm hoping I can be a little bit more proactive in speaking Spanish, especially because I'm gonna be going to Colombia for the holidays. All right, so finally moving on to the next question, and I thought that this was like a fun question. It's what brand would you most love to get PR from that you haven't already? I thought that was a really, really good question, and the answer to that, hands down, would be Anasazi. I'm gonna be using this palette in a minute, but definitely Anasazi. And I never talk about like PR and sponsorships and kind of like all of the behind the scenes kind of things, just because I feel like so many people talk about it and there's like so many opinions and so many messages out there that I don't feel the need to like add in my 2 cents just to like talk, basically. I don't have like a lot of strong, intense feelings either way about certain things that I feel like I need to get off my chest or anything, but I thought that this was like a fun question because back in the day, like 4 or 5 years ago, getting on the Anasazi PR list was like you made it on YouTube. I feel like it was that kind of vibe. I remember when all of the influencers who now have like 5 million, 1 million, like in the millions right now, when they would get on the Anasazi PR list and they would send out these huge packages. And I remember seeing it on Snapchat. I was gonna say Insta Stories, but this is before Insta Stories even existed. And I would just feel like, okay, now like they're at the top. They made it completely because it was just so like this like VIP list to be on the Anasazi PR list. I'm wearing right now the Cheek to Chic blush from Charlotte Tilbury in First Love. This is like one of my favorite neutral blushes. And what I really love about the Anasazi PR list is almost like how exclusive sounds like a negative word, but that's kind of like the best way to put it, like how, yeah, like VIP it is, because it's not a matter of numbers, it's a matter of talent. And I'm not somebody who does like really artistic makeup. I'm just gonna be putting on like brown eyeshadow. So like I have no issue with that. Like that's not like my brand basically. But that would just be really, really awesome to me. They like have a lot of people on their PR who have like 5,000, 1,000, like they find talent and really skilled makeup artists to be on their PR list. So I think that that is like a very cool opportunity to be on the Anasazi PR list for sure, because I feel like a lot of other brands just go based on numbers, but they really are very selective. I feel like it's almost like if it's like the Ivy League schools of PR lists to be on the Anasazi PR list. So that would be something that would be I would feel very honored to be in that position. But either way, you guys know I always buy Anastasia. I'm never gonna not. Like it's one of my favorite brands. And then I'm just actually gonna go in with the sultry palette. I'm starting off with the shade Burch, and we'll see what I end up doing with this. I don't really have any plans. I'm just going to dinner with my in-laws tonight. They're in town for our birthday weekend because my husband's birthday is actually 3 days after mine. All right, so moving into the next question. This one is basically asking, do you have a manager that helps you get into events, or do you manage your own career? I definitely do not have a manager. I don't think that a lot of people that would have like my channel size would necessarily have a manager, just because it's not like super difficult to self-manage, I don't think. I'm not getting like 10,000 emails from brands a day or anything like that, so it's not ridiculously difficult to like keep track of everything. I also do work full-time outside of this, and if I didn't, it'd be way easier for me to do everything with YouTube. So I definitely do not have a manager. When it comes to events, I just get emails saying like, do you want to come to this? RSVP, yes or no. It's like super, super simple. So I'm just gonna add in this shade Dystopian, which is like a dark brown. We'll see what I end up using for my lid color. But with events, sometimes it's like always different. Sometimes they'll email me day of and ask if I want to attend something, and I'll be like, okay, I'm free tonight. Or sometimes it'll be like 2 months prior, they will send like an invite. So it's usually pretty straightforward when it comes to beauty events. Like I just get emails about them and RSVP yes or no. I'll get some like several times a week. I'll get some times that there's nothing for like a month. So it's like varies every now and then. And I like to try to go to as many as possible, because it's always good to see a brand in person, or even just hang out with people in person and hang out with other influencers and meet people. So I try to go to as many as I can, as long as they're in like reasonable distance. If they're like an hour away, like I used to do that and like overcommit myself to events, and it would just like not be worth it because it'd be like so much travel, especially where I used to live. Sometimes it would be like, it'd take me 2 hours to get there. I'd be there for an hour and then go home, and I would spend like $50 on an Uber or something. That was just not making sense at all. But now where we live, usually events are like a lot closer to us because we're more in like a central location in LA. Sometimes it'll be just like a 10-minute Uber ride and we'll be there. Sometimes there's been events that I could actually walk to, which has been so nice and so refreshing, because before, just to try to connect with people like in the beauty community, like traveling so much and spending so much money on Ubers and stuff was just like so much more stress than it needed to be for like something that was supposed to be like a fun night, basically. So I'm gonna go in with the shade Ember on my lid, but I always get some FOMO if I don't end up going to events, just because you never know like who you can become friends with from going to an event. Like I became friends with Dithya last year just from like hanging out and meeting up at events and stuff, and there's been like other people that I see regularly now that I've become friends with from just seeing them at events and getting to like know them through that. So that's always something I really enjoy, and sometimes it's hard to like meet up with people otherwise. But then if you know you're going to an event, it's like really nice to be able to catch up with people. But I want to see if I can incorporate this into my eye look. This is from Marc Jacobs. It's the Sequins Glitter Eyeshadow in Gleam Girl. I've been wearing this every single day. And I just want to show you guys. It's like so creamy and gorgeous. So I think I want to put like a little bit in the center. Yes, I like that. Just to add a little bit of a glitter. But this is just such a beautiful product. I highly recommend it. All right, so the next question is, other than makeup and fashion, what other hobbies do you have? I would definitely say, I'm trying to think of like what I do in my life. I basically just do this and like work. But I would definitely say fitness would be something I'm super, super, super passionate about. Actually, for a very, very long time, I had been wanting to start a YouTube channel like while I was a teenager, while I was in college. And I really thought that I would end up kind of doing like Blogilates, a channel like that, or just like some kind of fitness or workout channel. If you guys didn't know, I went to college for dance, and I taught dance full time for like several years, like 4 to 5 years. And I definitely wanted to kind of transition into fitness and also teaching like fitness. I used to teach Zumba, and I did a lot of like trainings for like Pilates and yoga and everything like that. So I definitely wanted to go into like that route with YouTube back in like my early 20s. But I ended up in beauty several years later. So I definitely love fitness. It's something that I do want to work in again at some point. Probably like in my 30s, like I want to like go and get like all these other trainings for fitness and probably like teach fitness at night and also do YouTube and stuff like that. And then in addition to that, like my other hobby, which is kind of like makes me sad to say that it's a hobby, is dance, because it used to be like my main goal and main focus in life, and what how I made a living for so many years. In my 20s was through teaching dance, and I used to teach at a public school full time for like 4 years. But dance is something I still do. I do like contemporary modern dance. I definitely want to continue dancing, and I still like dance and perform, but it's just so much extra time, and I have so little time right now with my job, and then also trying to do YouTube full time but also work full time. So it makes it really difficult to like try to pursue something else, especially something that's like so obviously physically demanding. But I do want to continue always doing it, because I don't want to just like throw away something that I worked my whole life on, basically. But I definitely want to show a little bit more dance in my socials in general. I mean, I don't show anything right now, but I would love to incorporate it somehow in my channel, or just like even super casually, like clips from like rehearsals or classes like on Insta stories. Like I definitely want to make that a goal in 2019, but I'm just gonna go ahead and do some lashes, mascara, and then finish up with the rest of my makeup. All right, so eyes are done. Moving into highlighter, Anasazi and Reezy. I believe they just restocked this, which is awesome because this is one of my favorite highlighters. And I feel like I was avoiding wearing it or using it in tutorials because it wasn't available anymore, but it's so nice that they brought it back. I hope it becomes permanent. And then for lips, I'm using Iconic Nude from Charlotte Tilbury lip liner. So I just applied it all over because the lip color I'm gonna wear on top is glossy. I just got this from Charlotte Tilbury yesterday. This is Pillow Talk, and this is like one of their new kind of like glossier lip colors. I will have it linked below. It's a little bit pinkier compared to the lip liner, but I wanted to mix that together. All right, so that's gonna be everything for this Chit Chat Get Ready With Me. I definitely had a lot more questions that I was planning on answering, but I was just going on like so many tangents and I'm like, let me just keep it to the questions I answered, and I could definitely do more in the future. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will have all the products that I used today listed down below, and if you guys like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll talk to you guys soon in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.